Did you get everything you wanted for Christmas, Johnny?
Yep, a nice Preds pullover fleece shirt, a Mike Dunham bobblehead doll to add to my collection back there, and yes, Vancouver's Snowmageddon is finally over. What about you, Jersey guy? What did you get for Christmas?
Well, the Preds lost again, which means they're that much closer to a lottery pick, eliminating any false hope that they might make the playoffs, and that means it's time for another rant by you.
Preds lose 3-2 in regulation, thank God, Tuesday night inside Bridgestone Arena. Just when you thought this team might give the fan base and themselves false hope that they might earn a point out of this game, heaven forbid a win that'll ultimately mean nothing once they go on another losing streak, they fold nicely under pressure by the Stars late in regulation, just under a minute left to go, and they can't clear the puck out of their own net right in front, and Roope Hintz is able to bury the winner with 53 seconds left to go in regulation. Good, it's all going according to the plan. This team is long overdue to enact, and that is not tinker, not as a competitive rebuild. A rebuild is necessary. You want to play spoiler now and then and win in regulation and screw around with another team? Fine, but not give this fan base false hope with any pathetic gimmick points. If you're going to lose, lose in regulation, so that's a big 0, keeping you farther and farther out of the playoff spot. This team now has lost 8 of its last 10. It's turning into a beautiful thing of what potentially is to come once April arrives and the off season is finally here. But we've still got 49 more games left to go in this regular season as we see how the team will finally get there. Hopefully a draft lottery team. First game for the Preds after the post-Christmas break, and Matt Duchene wouldn't play in this game because of the birth of his latest child. Congratulations to him and his wife on that event. And wouldn't you know it, just over a minute into this game, the Preds tank is off on the right foot as Tommy Novak turns the puck over to Dallas Stars captain Jamie Benn, and he makes no mistake opening the scoring on his chance, gift wrapped as a late Christmas present by Novak. 1-0 Stars. Even though by the end of the first period the shot totals would be a lot more even, during parts of the first period the Stars had a big lead in shots, and you thought watching this live, whether or not on TV or in person, that the Stars probably should have had a bigger lead. Props to Bally Sports for this stat that they produced during the first period, that the Stars are 32nd, that's last, 32nd in the league in puck possession. But you know what that must mean, since the Stars are near the top of the Central Division standings, is that when they get the puck, they make short work of it and always almost convert. That means they don't keep you waiting. If you give it to them, they're probably going to score. Just about 5.5 left to go in the first, and I'm feeling like I'm missing something. The Stars are out shooting the Preds. Check. The Stars have a lead. Check there too. Oh, look, Dante Fabro takes a dumb penalty. There it is. There's what this game was missing. Dante Fabro, in this case, takes a stupid delay of game penalty, and luckily it didn't cost the Preds. Oh, but guess what? Right after that one, Colton Sisson says, hey, I want to try to get in on that, and he takes one too. Neither penalty. Preds are so lucky, end up costing them, and the Stars have their 1-0 lead after the first period. Early in the second period, wouldn't you know it, with the Preds on a power play, Tommy Novak is at it once again. He takes a bad offensive zone penalty. That's not what you want to do in a game when you're trailing, but it seems to spark the Preds because 4-on-4, the Preds come the other way. Carrier gets it over to Forsberg for his 10th of the season. He beats Jake Ottinger, who's in net for the Stars, tying this game back up at 1. But don't forget that Tommy Novak penalty comes back to bite the Preds in the butt, because almost a minute and a half later, after a 4-on-4 ends on the Stars side, they have a 5-on-4 power play. still to work with, and Rupe Hintz, with his first of 2 goals in this game, gives the Stars back the lead 2-1. Just a little over 6.5 into the second period. Roman Josi gets called for Mason Marchment. Not what you want to see. One of your best defensive players and your captain get a penalty. And just when you thought that maybe the Preds would be made to pay by the Stars, no. To his credit, Yakov Trenin gets in on a 2-on-1. He keeps it. He snaps it past Jake Ottinger, tying this game at 2. All credit in the world to Yakov Trenin for not quitting and willing this game back to a 2-2 tie. I will give him that. Tying the game like they did on Yakov Trenin's goal seems to spark the Preds to fuel more, want more goals, even though they weren't able to score. Jake Ottinger is the reason why the Preds probably weren't in front, because he is an all-star goalie. As compared to the first, when it looked like the Stars were controlling everything, the Preds were definitely controlling in the second period. They outshot the Stars 13-4, but only could produce 2 goals. Unfortunately, are tied after 2, and seeming that this is exactly where the Stars want to have the Preds, as you would see with the happenings in the third period. Unfortunately, in the third period, the Stars would outplay the Preds just like they did in the first period, but with a much wider margin in shot total. The Stars outshot the Preds by a total of 17-7 in that third period. And even though the Preds held their own, they even killed off a Jeremy Liaison interference call on Tyler Seguin. That, yeah, some people thought on replay it didn't look like it, but they called it, and the Preds were able to kill it off. And it looked like UC Saros was going to be able to will this team to at least get a point, but thank God they didn't. Nothing on him. I know he is working his butt off. Every game he plays, he's finally in his regular season form. He's just not getting the help in front. And sure enough, under a minute left, scramble behind the Preds net. The Preds cannot clear it out. Rupe Hintz first starts the play, getting it on net, and he is allowed to go behind the Preds net to the other side where the loose puck comes out for him, and he makes no mistake, giving the Stars a 3-2 lead with 53 seconds left. Preds scramble, have a timeout, whatever you want to say about it. They don't get a solid possession or any time to really set up. The Stars are able to kill the clock, win this game in regulation by the final score of 3-2. See, that was a good loss. Preds didn't lay over and die. They put up a good fight, and in the end, before this game could get to overtime, they lost to a superior division rival. And by reading the box score, you could totally see that this was going to happen. After 3 straight games with a power play goal, this team went 0 for 3 on the power play. And I was much surprised that this game had to go into the final minute of regulation, considering the fact that the Preds decided to take 6 penalties against the Stars, and the Stars only were able to convert on 1 of them. That strategy is never a good recipe for any win. More times than not, you will lose. Allowing yourself to be outshot in 2 of the 3 periods tonight, that's always a good recipe for a win. Yeah! You know, other than the Edmonton win last week, this batch of 6 games to finish off 2022 is all going according to plan. Beating the teams that you should and losing almost outright to all the teams that you should lose to as well. Next up is a 2-game West Coast road trip of Anaheim on Friday and Vegas on New Year's Eve. Yeah, there's 2 full days off of rest, but when has rest ever helped this team win games at all this season? Lose on Saturday like you should, and beat the Anaheim Ducks on Friday, because what Preds fan likes losing to the Ducks ever? You know, when I think about it, if you want to ensure the tank for the overall success of this team, yeah, if you want to go ahead and lose to the Ducks in Anaheim, that would totally be the Preds thing to do this season. Go ahead and do that. I'll be fine. Not in the moment, but after everything is said and done, it will help me feel a lot better if you don't win that game. And hey, the next best thing to beating the Ducks in a regular season game or eliminating them in the playoffs 3 times Anaheim, the next best thing to those 2 things would be getting into the draft lottery with them and getting a higher draft pick than them. That would just be the biggest, most beautiful chef's kiss. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click a like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really like it. You can find my social media by clicking on the channel name. Tell all your friends about Redemption. Keep piling up the losses, boys. I don't want to see much more this season in gimmick, overtime loss, or shootout losses to give the fan base false hope that this team is anywhere close to a playoff contender.